Hi guys, Christian Chi Trend here, and welcome to the channel for unlocking your universal energy potential. In this week's video, I wanted to talk to you about the law of attraction. Now, you may have heard of this on YouTube or in other places, a lot of people talking about the law of attraction. Well, what is the law of attraction? Well, the law of attraction is essentially the idea that as we are all energy, as science has been demonstrating, that we are all energy that's vibrating at different frequencies. Everything is energy. The table, your pen, your glass, your car, it's all different types of energy. And depending on the frequency of that energy is how it appears. So we are much bigger than ourselves. We are all one consciousness. As above, so below. As within, so without. We have the power to affect our reality. In fact, our whole reality is just what we perceive it to be. And we can influence this by our thoughts, by our behaviors, by our intentions, by our emotions. So the idea of law of attraction, which I fully believe in, is that we get back what we put out. Karma, what goes around comes around. But our thoughts combined with an intention, our intention combined with an emotion, will then start to show up as a reality. So that's the general idea of law of attraction, that we align with what it is that we want and then we receive, that we first be and do and have. So it's not to say that we can just imagine what we want and everything appears into our life. It's that if we regularly visualize, we regularly rehearse, and we then have the confidence to act out on our intentions, to act out on our intuition. Because you'll also notice the more that you do these things, the more sort of little insights and little signs will pop up. And that's really a subject for a separate video. But that is the idea of law of attraction, that we have the power to manifest everything that we want in our lives. So the idea of law of attraction, there's many different people that talk about it, but it's probably made most famous by the book The Secret, or the series of books The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And in The Secret, Rhonda actually talks about, and I've heard her talk about it in one of a recent interview I listened to of hers online as well. She talks about how she was heavily in debt, and she used to get every time she'd go to the mailbox, she'd open the mailbox and there would just be more and more bills. So she turned that situation around. She started to celebrate. Every time she opened the mail and she brought out a bill, she would see that figure and she'd pretend it was a check. She'd be so happy, she'd be so thankful. She would put her whole emotion into celebrating. Yes, I've got another check for 50 quid, $50, whatever. I think she's Australian, so it'd be $50. And then she started adding zeros onto her and say, oh yes, I've got a check for $500 or whatever that value was. And then little by little, she started to feel a lot better about the situation. And then all of a sudden, one day, she got her first check, which she was not expecting. And then it happened again, and it happened again. And all of a sudden, she started to get, and things started to turn around. She decided to start creating the Secret series. And now she's a millionaire and lives the life that she enjoys of a millionaire's life. But I must say, when I first heard her saying this, I thought it was, well, I was like, oh, come on, it's not that easy. As much as I believe in, as much as I'm spiritual, as much as I believe in law of attraction, I thought it can't be that easy. And then this week changed my view on this. I'm toing and froing between Sheffield at the moment, which is a city in the UK, and it's about an hour and a half away from where I live. I'm working there at the moment. And I decided rather than just listen to music in the car, I would listen to some sort of content relating to the law of attraction, The Secret. And I started saying to myself, oh, I'm so happy I got this money. I'm so happy. I can't believe I got this money. Brilliant, I keep getting this money. And I said it to myself over and over again. When I got to work, I went onto my online banking and I'd randomly received £2,000 that I was not expecting to receive from a source that I was not expecting it to receive from. Now, at first, it took me a while to actually get to the bottom of where that money came from. I do now know where that money came from, and I don't have to give it back. And yeah, I couldn't believe it, because here I was sort of thinking this can't work, But then I gave it a go, and I said it over and over again for, I don't know, 20 minutes, perhaps less than that, how happy I was. I got myself into the emotional state of receiving some random money. And honestly, within the hour, I had some random money. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work exactly like that for you, but that was the first time I ever did that exercise. So that was strange. What was more strange was I checked my bank account 2 days ago, and again, completely randomly, I received another £3,600 that I was not expecting. Again, I'm not going to go into detail where it came from. On this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to have to give it back or not, but we'll see. Either or, I've certainly had one and potentially had two. So yeah, really, really strange for me. I didn't think it could work, and it did work. So why not give it a go? You know, I'm not asking you to, I'm not pretending that everyone's going to get money, free money, and you can just ask for money, you're going to get some. But yeah, I didn't get it as a check in the mail, but I got it as an online transfer, and it's happened to me twice unexpectedly. So why not give it a go? Now, of course, law of attraction is essentially about putting that emotion, that intention, and then also taking action to get to where you want to get to. So I want to retire in Ibiza one day and have a nice villa with a view of or an apartment with a view of the sea. So that is what I regularly visualize in my meditations. And it's weird, it only sort of dawned on me not that long ago, since I've started doing these videos really, that the very apartment that I'm in now, I feel that I manifested it. So I used to be an estate agent, stroke letting agent. I used to work many of the apartment buildings, letting them out in the city that I live. And I used to visualize, I did many apartments in this building, and it's sort of a well-known building for, or certainly at the time, less so now, but for Leicester City football players. And this apartment building at the time was my favourite, still is my favourite. And it's a whole massive complex of apartment buildings. And I used to visualise living here, but thought I never probably will live here. But I used to visualise living here. This is before I was into any of the stuff I'm into now. But I used to regularly sort of dream or fantasise, whatever you want to call it, about one day I'd love to live there. And then one day a strange sort of set of circumstances came about which allowed me to buy here, even though it was well out of my price range. The first one was that there was a dip in the property market which brought the prices down to the point where I thought I could afford a one-bedroom apartment. The second thing was that there was a Leicester City footballer, I'm not going to say who it was, who used to own this apartment, who, let's say, got into some trouble with the club and habits, and ended up, the apartment got repossessed. Which in that scenario, I'm not sure how it works in other countries, but in the UK, the bank are generally interested in just getting back what they've lost. So I won't say the figure, but there was a certain figure, a lot less than what the apartment was worth, certainly when he bought it, and also less than what it was worth when the market had taken a bit of a dip as well. And so they advertised, as they have to do in the UK, they advertised it as a repossession. And in the newspaper, it didn't make it clear whether it was a one bed or two bed. And it was actually for the same value as what one beds were going at the time. And I came round to look, and no one else came to look, and discovered it was a two bed. But as I say, it was in the paper next to all these one beds for the similar price as a one bed, but it didn't say how many beds it was. So we put an offer in, we got the apartment, and basically they had to advertise for another week it to be in the newspaper, the Leicester Mercury, that the property was selling, which made me nervous because I know there's lots of big landlords in Leicester and probably be someone looking for a steal. They have to advertise the price of what it's selling at. And they printed it in the Leicester Mercury, but when I bought the Mercury to have a look, the page was smudged. Not just on that page, but on every page, which again made it not clear of the steal I was now having. And I completed on the apartment, and there was all these stickers and everything saying condemned and dangerous, do not use, because they have to do legally because they've not had someone check all the assets out, the boilers, the washing machines, fridges, dishwashers, all this sort of stuff. So I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to spend a fortune in fixing these things. Again, took the stickers off, everything worked perfectly. the football had even left loads of nice furniture. So it was, and I made an instant profit that day of, let's say 45 grand on the day I completed, because as I say, it was below market rate. So that's a story about how something I used to dream of became true, and the universe sort of conspired to give it to me. So now I put the same thought, the same intention, the same emotion, probably far more than actually, into the idea of living and moving to Ibiza. And that is my plan. So yeah, give it a go. Try mentally rehearsing certain situations that you'd like to manifest. Really get into the mental rehearsal of it. You know, if you want to have a Jaguar, think about how it would feel to grip the steering wheel, the smell, the sounds as the engine fired up. You know, think about all these things and regularly rehearse it, and you'll be surprised, it may well manifest. So I'm Christian Chi-Tren. Thanks for listening. If you like my content, please do hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're new here. And I think I'm going to do a next video actually on weird signs that the universe can give you. If you ask for a sign, the universe will give you a sign. I've got some very crazy stories on that. So thanks for listening.